So, tell me what you think of the school system in the U.S. Because you went to college, right?
Yeah, I went to college, and obviously grade school before that. So it's just like, even thinking back, the amount of experience I have with this topic is just kind of scary if you think about it. It's like so much time. Time's very valuable, and I spent just thinking how literally I'm 25 and I've spent most of my life in the school system. Like, that's mind-blowing to me. Like, what the heck?
And what did you go to school for?
I got my degree in economics, and I chose economics because it was I knew I wanted to go to the business school. I'm not really the medical type. I really did terrible in biology class and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Math, I kind of lost. I lost my ability for math in high school because I skipped one of the math classes and tried to do the AP, and that ended up screwing me because I never learned a whole layer of it. So I suck at math, at least the advanced stuff. I'm good with the basic math that you need to know for business, though. But yeah, I decided to get my degree in economics and go that direction because I knew I wanted to be in the business school, and that was the one topic I found that wasn't completely boring to me. So that's the way it went, and I really just got that so that I could stick it all on wall, because no one in my family had done that yet. So that was really the only reason I did it.
Nobody in my family still hasn't done it yet, because I went to school for engineering. But the whole college thing, I guess even for you, would be just you wanted a way to get rich. That's what we're taught. That's the path to go by.
Yeah.
To create some level of success in this country.
Yeah, it is the path. It is the given path that you go to school, go to college, get a good job, right?
Right.
Then be able to provide a good life.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the route that we're
Why else would you trade 4 or 5 years of your time if that wasn't the end result?
Yeah, exactly. But to me, it's not really the same. Like, we're getting advice from another generation on this topic, but I wasn't alive back then, but I've seen enough about what it was like back then to know that it's a different world we live in now. It's a different environment. So, I believe that advice that we get laid upon us is laid upon us with the best intentions in the whole world.
It is.
But it's just a different world, and I believe that that's very old advice that we're getting on that whole topic.
Yeah.
It's very old and outdated advice that's not applicable to today's world.
Because of how things have changed.
Yeah.
I think back then you could probably get a degree and then, you would achieve a level of success that others couldn't now. I think we're saturated with degrees.
Yeah, there's so much that's changed. Like, degree is no longer as special as it once was, because it's kind of a given that you would have a bachelor's degree now.
Yeah.
Back then, it was actually something that meant a little more just because of the scarcity. You have less people with degrees, it's a more valuable thing. You have more people with degrees, it's not as valuable. Simple economics. That, and then also even just the cost of schooling, now compared to then, it's nothing like it. If you account for inflation, the cost of schooling compared to, the cost of anything else, you could just see how it skyrocketed over time. And
well, now we have more loans too.
Yeah, so now it's just different. When you get a degree and you come out of school, it's like, okay, maybe you put yourself in a position where you had scholarships, or maybe your family set you up, but other than those scenarios, you're gonna come out with debt. It's just a matter of how much. But fact is, that's like a huge anchor, because there's kids these days, like, I came out with 20K in debt. That wasn't too bad, but there's kids that are coming out with 100K. I've even heard of 200K plus in debt. That's, to go into the world not having anything except, okay, great, I just got my degree, now let me go try to get a job somewhere. Like, that's, just think about how crazy that is. To me, that's like crazy that this is the world that we're taught by the last generation that this is the way to go. Well, I think if you asked any of them if they knew anyone in a situation like that back then, it's like that's so far from what the reality was back then.
Well, it's the norm now.
Yeah.
The question now is, how much in debt are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about the school system is when you're out, your chances don't seem that that much better.
Yeah, and like really the value in school, like, okay, aside from the fields where you actually need a degree, I'm talking, I mean, if that's the field or not, if you're watching this. Like, for instance, doctor, you can't just not go to medical school.
Yeah.
And same with law, you can't practice law without having those credentials. So if you're doing it and it's credential based, then right on. You don't really have a choice if that's what you want to pursue.
Yeah.
But all these other degrees though, I'm talking about a vast majority of people in college. It's like you're going out into the real world. Like, no one's gonna give you a job just because of your degree. Like, there's a lot more to it. And on the same token, there's people out there that you're gonna be competing with who don't even have a degree. So think about that.
True.
So, I know of examples, and it can be a more difficult route to go. But the fact is, though, I think what I'm leading to with this whole conversation is having a degree doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily a path in itself to become successful. It's almost like two different topic matters that we're talking about. It's like, yes, you can go out and get a degree, but whether or not you're actually going to achieve success is a completely different topic.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I just think it kind of failed me. I failed it too, but I just sort of approached school with not a very serious mindset, mentality. I was very immature when I was 20, uncommitted, lazy. The only thing that I liked, the things that I liked, I gave it all. I gave my all to. So the classes that I enjoyed, I got really good grades in. So I wasn't a poor student, I just had bad work ethic.
Yeah, just because you didn't, I guess the reason you were doing it didn't really resonate with you, right?
No, it didn't. I chose it because I thought I had a knack for math and science, and I knew that engineers get paid well, and that would be a really nice name. Like, I'm an engineer. That's a very honorable profession, and they do make pretty good money.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I stuck with it. I wanted that at the end of my schooling experience. If I would have chosen something else like business or maybe even art, I'd probably get excellent grades in. But no, I was very determined to become an engineer.
So I guess at some point along the way, you changed. You had a change in mentality that was the direction you were going to go to achieve success, right?
Yes, exactly.
And what brought that about? How did that end up coming about?
Which one, the engineering?
Well, just okay, at one point you thought, okay, to achieve what I want in life, I'm going to become an engineer. At some point, that mentality shifted, right?
Well, it shifted because I lost interest in school. I was failing my classes, skipping classes, and then embarrassed to go back to class because of how much I've missed. And I became a little depressed, not clinically depressed, but I was just very sad, and I was blaming myself for all this, and I felt like I went way back. I took many steps back, things I couldn't overcome anymore. So anyway, they put me on academic probation. I took that semester off and really reflected on myself and what I wanted to do. So I just started working. I just wanted to do something in the time I had off. And I realized that I didn't want to go back to school. I'm interested in starting my life and figuring out how to make money, and maybe through a different path.
And is that the point that you got into car sales?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was looking for jobs, not hourly. I wanted something that would challenge me, and I just gave it a try. Really, I had zero intentions of sticking to this as a career. I wanted to do it just for a summer or the semester I was off, and then go back and finish my degree. But I started making money, and it's not like I fell into a trap, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to just be an adult already. I wanted to start my life and start a career. And I made that decision when the time was approaching to go back. I said, screw it. I'll figure this out my own way. Because some people make careers out of car sales or real estate.
Yeah.
And I told myself, the degree won't be necessary for what I'm doing right now. And if I really need one, I can always go back. So my parents didn't like that, but they had to live with it. I was happier with my decision, so I think they've accepted it in the last couple of years.